Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Professor Ming's Strategic Insights. The topic I want to talk about today is called pelagic fishery. Upon hearing this term, you may be alarmed and ask me, aren't you a political scientist? How can we pick such a topic? You don't know nothing about it. Yes, I have to admit, my knowledge about modern fishing or commercial fishery is rather limited. So this is something I'm not familiar with. But let me put it this way. When I first saw this term on the newspaper, on Communist China's newspaper, or in their web paper released by their official news agency, I thought it was a fishing thing, something about fish, about catching fish and something like that. So I didn't pay much attention. But then I could not hold up my curiosity. So after glancing the title of the article, I quickly glanced through the content of the article. Then I realized that I was wrong. So it is not a fishing thing. It is rather a, how should I call it, a social phenomenon or even a judicial phenomenon. So you may be surprised, but allow me to explain. The term pelagic fishery is not a new one, actually. It came out about 2-3 years ago, but that was not very popular because the phenomenon hasn't been widespread, but it has been quite popular and been spread around China, almost all over China. So people talked a lot about it. So after all, what does this pelagic fishery mean? It means in Communist China, anywhere, somewhere in China, a group of policemen, usually police officers of a certain county, of a certain province, they go out of their own jurisdiction, usually to other provinces. They go out of the jurisdiction, and then they identify, and then they try to arrest the owner or the owners or even the employees of a certain company and charge them with a fabricated criminal charges. Usually it's like, you're selling fake goods and you have problem with your credits and you're involved in some kind of case of fraud, things like that. So they'll arrest the people, arrest the guy or even the persons in the company and put them into custody and then ask them to pay a fine. The amount of the fine is generally very huge, very, very big, in tens of thousands or even tens of millions or even larger amount of money. So this is what it refers to, pelagic fishery. So this pelagic fishery has become a very popular and very hot topic in Chinese newspapers and news media and all kinds of reports. According to one inside notice issued by Guangdong province, one of the southern provinces, in earlier this year, actually earlier last year, 2024. They said that the internet companies in their province had been suffering this kind of fishery for a long time, and the situation is so bad that they could not live any longer. That means they have to close up or they have to go bankruptcy. So it is serious, and it happened mostly in cities like Guangzhou, Shenzhen, and Dongguan, the most advanced part of the commercial sector of Guangdong province. And in Canton or Guangzhou city alone, in 2023, there are nearly 10,000 such companies who had gone through such kind of a bad experience. Yes, you heard me right. Just in 1 year, in one small place, there are nearly 10,000 companies who had gone through such bad experience. And in 2024, it was in 2023, and in 2024, it is reported there are at least 82 listed companies who had gone through such things, the pelagic fishery. Since the phenomenon has become so popular and so widespread, it catches attention of many people, and many experts or scholars who had written articles about it. A very famous one is by an economist who was the, I believe he still is, the deputy director of the International Strategic Study Institute of a Central Party School. You know that it is an important place. He published an article in the web, and he appealed to the government, the central government, to do something about it, because it is so bad and it has caused much damage to the business environment in China. So he wrote an article, and there's so many articles about it, and people have been talking about it, and people have been holding seminars to discuss how to deal with things like that, and so on and so forth. So after talking about this phenomenon in an abstract way, let me try to give you a few examples, very solid examples, so that you know a lot better about the whole thing. The first case is a company in Hangzhou in Zhejiang province, one of the eastern provinces in China. And this company sells a package. They call it the bathing supply package, and it's a small thing. So it's about $10–20 a piece. Anyway, it is claimed that a customer, who bought about $240 worth of this commodity, and then he took them home, and he tried them out, and discovered that they're not satisfied. He said that there's some problem with the quality of the product. He went to the police station in Chongqing in Sichuan province. It's like about half of China. It's that huge, that big a distance. Anyway, so he filed a criminal charge in Chongqing police station. And the Chongqing police station, after receiving the case, they sent out 300 policemen all the way to Hangzhou to arrest the owner of this privately owned business. We call it POB. And again, let me clarify it. This company, they did not produce this package. They bought it from a third place, a company in Guangxi, a southern province. So it's like a triangular relationship. Anyway, it's kind of complicated. So for this $240 worth of case, they sent out 300 policemen to arrest the owner of the company, along with 155 employees of the company. And then they impounded, and then they fined the company up to about 200 million Chinese dollar. It's like about, let me see, 30 million US dollars. How about that? So it's like, I don't know, it's a huge amount of money. So that's first case. Second case is, it happened in Henan province, one of the northern provinces, a little bit to the center, and somewhere below the Inner Mongolia. Anyway, there's a guy who's a collector who collects antiques and something like that. He took one of his antique to a so-called auction house and asked him to verify its authenticity. So the company took this piece of antique, and then they verify it, and then according to their pricing list, they charged this so-called collector a 5,000 yuan. It's like about $700 US for the commission. Anyway, so I did. Then this collector who paid the verification fee, paid the commission, and then he went to the police station to file a lawsuit and saying it's a fraud. That's a fraud. So the policemen from this Henan province, They went all the way to this company who was located in Shenzhen, in Guangdong. It's like, again, half of China, again. The policemen came to this Guangdong came to this city in Guangdong, in Shenzhen. They arrested 47 employees of the company. And then the funny thing is, the court found the company guilty, and they fined them, and they impound the company's asset up to that's a big amount of money, up to $10 million worth of assets of the company. So include the court is also included in the case. The third case also happened in Henan province, the same province. They sent out 1,600 policemen and police officers all the way to Guangzhou, again in Guangdong province, to a very big company, a group, actually a business group. And then they did this pelagic fishery, claiming that they're involved in some kind of fraud and some kind of counterfeit or things like that. It's strange. So the company said they issued a notice and claimed that more than several dozens of employees have been investigated, and hundreds of them were investigated, and dozens of them are now in custody. The total amount of the money involved in the case is about like less than $100,000. But Henan policemen, they went to Guangzhou and they went to Shenzhen to this company. They freeze 64, you hear me right, they froze 64 bank accounts of this company, and total amount being frozen is like $100 million. So the company or the group, the entire group, almost went bankruptcy. So you know how bad the situation is like. It's not difficult to imagine what would happen after that. So where the companies were housed, they had to do something to so-called protect their own business, or the business or the companies in their own provinces. So for the foreign audience, try to imagine if some policeman or some police station from, say, North Dakota State, and then they go all the way to the state of Florida, and then they identify a company who's rich enough, but who's also fragile enough, and they go there to arrest the owner of the company, along with some employees, dozens of employees, and freeze their bank accounts, and then impose a huge amount of fine on them. Well, what would you think? What would you think? So isn't that strange? Isn't that kind of ridiculous in such a country? So it's only natural for us to imagine that what would happen afterwards. So in some cases, some provinces had announced some regulations against such pelagic fishery, saying that nobody's allowed to do that to companies in our own province. So it's like that. And then there are some worse cases. For instance, in a case, it happened in Zhejiang province, as we mentioned before, a eastern province. They just published the case. It happened about 2-3 months ago. The case goes like this. They had caught two policemen or two police officers from other province who came to their province and do such pelagic fishery. And they claim it's illegal. They arrested these two police officers and put them into jail and sentenced them to several years in prison. I don't know what happened afterwards because it hasn't been reported after that, but that's so much we heard about it. So this is serious. This is really serious. Imagine if it happened, like I said, if it happened in the United States, what would you think about the United States judicial system, and among other things? So this kind of things that reminds us that it seriously undermines the authority of the judicial system of this country, or at least of this province, and the provinces involved. So the law enforcement body have become bandits. We cannot tell the difference between a burglar, a bandit, and a police officer or a law enforcement officer. And that's the first take. The second take is in some provinces, they even invented a new thing, a new measure. They called it protective arrest, or sometimes they call it preemptive arrest, meaning that if the owner of a certain company who feels that he's in danger of such fishery, and he goes to the police station and then file a case, the police station of this province will arrest him right there, just for the sake of protection. Again, this is weird, and this is really unheard of in other civilized countries, and that's the second thing. So the third thing is we see the emergent infightings, or the internal strifes. It's like an outright power struggle or internal strife among these bodies or these government agencies. It also reflects that the serious deterioration of financial situation of local governments all over China, because this is very common. If in a short period of time there were about 10,000 cases happening in just one small city of Guangdong, then you know how bad the situation is all over the country. It also reflects that the central government may be experiencing a deterioration of their financial situation. Otherwise, they'll jump in and try to ease the case with some kind of measures. But they haven't done much about it. So that's why it has been more than 2 years, and it's getting worse and worse. The last one is, well, of course, it's a serious deterioration of the business environment. We pointed out before in our previous programs, we said in recent years there are some companies, be them foreign, Taiwanese, Korean, Japanese, or even local. The Chinese companies are fleeing from the country because the business environment is going bad. It's deteriorating rapidly, not only financially, not only judicially, but it could be it could be life-threatening. So that's why people are afraid of doing business there, and that also adds to the situation of unemployment in the society, as we pointed out before. So this is a very serious matter, and it's still going on. It is still going strong, and we'll keep watching it, and we'll keep you posted once there are some big cases coming out. And this is what I want to share with you today. And again, if you like our program, please subscribe and relay it to your friends or share it with your friends, and then click the little icon so that you can get a new program simultaneously should we have a new one. And anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.